Il nuovo modo di ascoltare la radio si chiama Vertigo One, www.radiovertigo1.com.
Le piccole cose. Connect, 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 connect.
Friends of Web Radio Vertigo One, we are proud to introduce you and have him on the phone, our teacher from some nights ago. That is Rasheed Ali. Ciao Rasheed, how are you?
Ciao Fabio. I feel very good, actually.
I would like to start this conversation with you speaking about your current album, that is 1968 Soul Power featuring Rasheed Ali. And some says that this is a lesson, and you said that they better show up for class. We had this conversation, but in my opinion, there is a whole life in this work. There is so much more than just a lesson. There are lives of many people. There is courage. There are fights. There are shattered dreams, and a clear message demanding equality. To me, this record is of the same weight and importance of some pages written a long time before, and I'm thinking about Wake Up Everybody, What's Going On, or If There's a Hell Below. Mm-hmm. So we are in that landscape that we are now listening to a new record in 2015 that is, I don't think that is political. I think it's about equality, about a structure that asks to minds to be equal.
You're very perceptive. Yes, it's about. Somebody had said that it was a politically conscious or socially conscious. Okay, there's a difference. Politically charged album. And by the way, thank you for including me in the company of some people that I looked up to coming up. You know, I have always written socially conscious material because I think that you hit it on the head. It's not political. It's about humanity. It's about humanity questioning, about people questioning their own humanity. How humane are you? And if you are humane, then can you see history in its proper perspective? Are we still there?
Yes, yes.
Went off for a second. And you see, I've been obsessed with history for a very long time, since I was a child. When I was growing up, my father had made an incredible purchase. When I look back at it, he had bought the full Encyclopedia Britannica at a time when the Encyclopedia Britannica was the foremost encyclopedia in the world. And it occupied a very strategic place in our home, in the living room. It was and you know, if you've ever seen it was a classic encyclopedia. There were very thick books, and there were many. And then every year there would be a yearbook. And
yes,
so
in Italy, just to make it more understandable to the Italian people, in Italy it's like the Treccani one, many volumes, and every year there is an addition to that volumes.
Yes, so it's interesting that this album should be called 1968 because it does remind me of those yearbooks, right? And since the encyclopedia was where I lived, as a child, I was really crazy. I used to read 2 books all the time, no matter what. I used to read the dictionary like it was a novel, and I used to read the encyclopedias, the entire set of encyclopedias. So to this day, I have two sons, and when they were growing up, they used to say to me, "Dad knows everything," they would say to their mother. And I would laugh. I said, "Well, Dad, you know, if it was a word, what does this word mean?" I said, "Well, your dad used to read the dictionary every day. So I tell you what." And then if it was a thing about history, I would say, "Your dad used to read the encyclopedia like it was, you know, a comic book." So yes, this happened. And, you know, so that I should make this work now at this point in my life, for me, it has a bit of comedy to it. in the comedy of life, what is that? La grande comédie, know, you know, that I should be this writing about a perspective based on a history. I called it 1968, but it's 1968 is really not about just 1968. I think you know that. I can tell by what you say about it. But 1968 is like a pin drop, like when they identify where your phone is, you see that little pin, boop. That pin drop is on the line of history. It's a marker in history. And 1968 was indeed a very tumultuous year. It certainly warrants a pin drop, right? And people should give it a pin drop in history. But the 60s and into the 70s had a momentum all its own. And it was something that was moving very quickly, So if you've seen the videos, the companion films that I've composed to companion with the music, then you see that I do include in a song like "Up in Smoke," President Kennedy being assassinated, because when I was a child, that was the beginning of the end of innocence for children. Because if the president could be assassinated in cold blood like this for the world to see, then it cast a giant shadow of darkness on the lives of those youth, myself included. So you see, I can't just say 68, I could say, and then when we think about when I was growing up, in the southern United States especially, there were people who could not vote in 1965. They could not vote. Now you see, fast forward, when I went to South Africa as an artist. I went to South Africa in 2004. And they were celebrating 10 years of the end of apartheid. And everybody could vote. Everybody would vote. I remember talking with South African friends. They said when the voting comes around, it's amazing. You see people from every village lines up to vote because they had no say-so before. Okay, why am I saying that? Because imagine, supposedly American slavery in this country, the United States, was ended in 1865. And 100 years later, not 10 years after apartheid, 100 years after the end of slavery, you still had apartheid in America. They just did not call it apartheid.
It's just a matter of change the word, but not the meaning.
Exactly.
And the attitude.
Exactly.
Because the thing that comes up when you listen to the album is that there is something that points on, come on, let's change this attitude. You don't want to change history with your art and your work. You just want to point out that there's a wrong attitude coming around.
I could say in the past, present, and hopefully not the future. You see, because obviously the world is watching right now as we see that we have a police force that has taken it upon itself to exact some kind of new order. I'd rather talk about music, but yes, you're right. You are talking about where I reside, where my soul lives. Okay, and as an artist, I think that it automatically makes me a pacifist. I'm a card-carrying pacifist, and yesterday, a fellow artist, shared with me something that I shared with my son. It was here in Los Angeles, police officers, somebody had taken the video, unbeknownst to the officers, 3 police officers with their guns. These 3 Latino guys. Their hands are up. One, I think maybe he puts his hand on his hat, and they shoot him in cold blood. And I say to myself, what is really that? What does that really mean? I mean, what is it? You know, Marvin Gaye said in his song, "Trigger happy policing." He said that in his song. And he said, "What's going on?" That was 1972. And here we are, it's 2015. And what does trigger happy policing mean? What is it the end of? You know what I mean? It's like the tip of the sword, or the point of the gun, the barrel of the gun, the bullet. But let's backtrack, you know, like if you could imagine, you know, like in a film, when they do it in reverse. Yes. And when the bullet comes out of that man, back into the barrel of the gun, back into the holster, into the man before he makes the shot, what makes him make that shot, Fabio? Why is he shooting this man?
This is one of the shame of men today, because I'm afraid that this thing is not only related to the police, it's related to the day by day and business as usual, with your neighborhoods, right, with other people taking the same route to go to work. There is so much angry and aggressivity in yes, people nowadays, and maybe this is the meaning, because 1968 Soul Power to me is so important now, because it gives a different light on this and says, okay guys, this is what we are dealing with every day, but please remember that you can look up and see that there is more to this, and more to this is starting from you respecting each other. It's quite important.
You know, it is. And it's even in the language, you know, especially speaking with you, because, you know, my first language is Spanish. So when we look at the word, you know, the Latin word, you know, anima, or to animate, or we look at alma, we look at soul. You know, when I first made the title, it was because I was thinking, what's missing? You know, I think as an artist, we try to go into the void. We try to look for the open spaces, you know, because if you're an artist, you don't go into the crowded area. You're looking around for the open space so that you can create something new.
They called it the long hot summer. We were young and so young at heart. So cool, big afro cool. Chasing fly girls, living in another world. Then they shot down Mr. King. Now we were all gonna learn the truth about America.
Radio Vertigo One, 100% the best music for you.
They called it the long hot summer. We were young and so innocent, talking slick with an afro pick, trying to emulate a black power handshake. Then they shot down Mr. King, and we were all gonna learn the truth about America. Our innocence going up in smoke, fires burning when we awoke, and the kids said, burn baby burn. Call it the long hot summer. We were young and radical, so cool, big afro cool. Wanna be revolutionaries. Then they shot down Mr. King, and we were all gonna learn the truth about America. Our innocence going up in smoke, fires burning when we awoke, a new America going for broke. And the kids said, burn baby burn. We said, burn baby they shot down Mr. King, and we were all gonna learn the truth about America. Our innocence is up in smoke, and the kids said, burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. We said, burn, baby, burn. And the kids said, burn, baby, burn. We said, burn, baby, burn.
You know, as an artist, it's like you're turning 360 degrees, and then you see a space that's open, and you say, "That's where I need to go." It's like I want to hang my painting right there. I'm going to paint the painting. I'm going to put it there. So that's the analogy for me. So you know, and when I thought, what's missing from music, I thought the words soul come out. But the funniest thing, when I called it soul power, I was really talking about not soul music like, you know, like James Brown soul music. The real play on words was soul from here.
Yes, from the soul, from the heart,
yes,
and not from the
soul.
musical genre.
No, exactly. Well, the funniest thing was, by calling it soul power, what's happened in England is that they almost felt that I was reviving their belief in soul music, which was kind of funny for me, because that wasn't necessarily an intent, you know, to be the soul revivalist. But if that word has a meaning, that's good, because I would rather that somebody say my music was soul music than if they said it was gangster rap. Because I'm not a gangster.
You had a great cure recording the album, because you did it in analog, and you recreated the sound of 1968 as a concept to be... It seems that you created a brand.
Thank you.
Are you a marketing man, maybe, in disguise?
Well...
Because it seems that there is more to this, that there is a brand.
No, it is a brand. It is a brand, but less from a cynical point of view, you know, like less from a cynical point of view, but more from what I'm saying before about there being an empty place, a place where something needs to fill. You know, it's like a big empty spot that's dead. See, because I really think that when I felt to make this record, I was feeling that music was dead around me. You see, to me, the neo soul stuff, I'm sorry, but a lot of the stuff, I heard my son listening to a record yesterday, and I said, that's really nice, but it sounds like Erykah Badu has given birth to maybe 1 million women who all sound like her. and I said, and that's not even the problem. It's that I can't believe that all those 1 million women who she has spawned have her soul. You see? So, you know, it's like when John Coltrane played his saxophone, well, he sounded like him, and he went to his own place. Now, if 1 million people try to sound like John Coltrane, but those people don't have his soul.
1968. Soul power. Warm it up, warm it up. Keep it right there. is singing that same old thing. But we got soul power. Who's got the power? Soul power. We got soul power. Who's got the power? Soul power.
Radio Vertigo One, music for number ones.
Uh-huh. They think they got the power, but we got soul. Soul power. We got soul. Soul power. Who's got the power? Soul power. We got soul. Soul power. Who's got the power? Soul power. We've got soul. Soul power. Gonna tell them again. The drum that beats for the one in power is making you dance, dance, dance. The drum that beats for the one in power is playing that same old song. But we got soul, soul power. Who's got the power? Soul power. We got soul, soul power. Who's got the power? Soul power. We've got soul, soul power. Who's got the power? Soul power. Brother, we got soul, soul power. Jeffrey, who's got the power? Soul power. Sister, we got soul, soul power. Jeffrey, who's got the power? Soul power. We got soul power. Give a drummer some. Take it back to Africa. 1968 soul power.
I don't want, there's an important part that I don't want to be missed. And it's evident,
1968 soul power.
oh, I could show you. It's evident even in the picture that I chose for the inside. The picture is this, the sign that the kids are holding in a protest march says self-determination for Vietnam and Black America. But there are no Vietnamese kids in this picture, and there are no Black kids in this picture. And that, to me, was the message of 1968. You didn't have to be Black to say we need humanity. You could be, quote unquote, white. You could be anything. But to see justice or injustice, humanity, inhumanity, you have to use your soul. And I want people to know that for me, when I was growing up at that time, that what I loved the most about that period of time was I went to places like the Fillmore, and you could see Black acts and white acts playing together. This world is very segregated now. Music used to be, you went to a show, you could see from Otis Redding, you could see, all these different acts together, and rock and roll. It was less clear cut. And I was beneficiary of that when I was really young, because my band opened up for many different acts across many different genres, only because the taste was still this hippie movement was still going on that said, hey, it's gold music, it's all good. So that's what I want to give your audience, to know that in my message, it might sound like it's a Black message, but only because I'm Black. So it is semi-autobiographical to my life. But if you're really listening, you will hear what I'm saying. And what I am saying is it's not about Black or white. It really and truly is beyond that. And that's why I said that picture is very important to me. It was kids protesting. 1968 celebrates a generation of radical kids, the same ones who were in Paris that year, the same ones who were in Germany that year, the same ones who were in Spain that year. And I don't know if you had the same thing in Italy that year. Maybe you did.
Something,
sure.
yes, something like that, Rasheed. Thank you very much. The album
Thank you so much.
is really important to me.
Oh, thank you so much.
They wanna look like me, sound like me, act like me. They wanna be like me, dress like me, dance like me. But they don't know the skin I'm in. They think they know, but they don't know jack what it's like to be black. 24/7, what it's like to be black. 24/7, what it's like to be black. 24/7.
www.radiovertigo1.com.
They wanna get down like me, wine like me, funky like me. They wanna move like me, smooth like me, cool like me. Not like me, I don't think so. Skin I'm in, think they know. They don't know jack about what it means to be black. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, 365 days of the year. Black, 24/7. Black, 24/7. They wanna look like me, sound like me, act like me. They wanna be like me, dress like me, dance like me. But they don't know the skin I'm in. They think they know, but they don't know jack what it's like to be black. 24/7, say it loud. Say it loud. Say it loud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. 365 days of the year. 24/7. 24/7. Black. 24/7. 24/7. Black.
www.radiovertigo1.com.
Le piccole cose.